Hello everyone and welcome to day 18 of the daily sketch. Today's topic, and let me just pull this up, is the bento box. So here's the bento box. It's a single person meal box which has sections where you can compartments. I mean, you can use these compartments to separate the different food items, and yet it is a single serve for a single serve box for mailbox, right? Okay, so I'm going to try and do this illustration probably without the extras, just the bento box, and if I can, the chopsticks, but we'll see. So keeping that in mind, let's start with the sketch. I'm using a pencil. The bento box is rectangular or maybe a bit squarish. And this one's at a bit of an angle, so I'm going to maintain that angle. At this point, there's a little thickness. This is the part that faces us. You can't see the bottom too much because it's hidden from the angle it's taken, the photo is taken. It's kind of hidden. Now here I think I have definitely curved this line, so I'm going to just straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. Same thing over here, the line is a little compromised, so turn that in. Now that that's done, our box has more or less equal sections, so I'll just put this line here, and this one is lower, this one is higher. So I'll keep the illustration quite simple. There's a curve, appears a bit wonky, so I need to hold it up occasionally just to see whether that's become too off. Yeah, a little bit. Next we have rice, which is going to be just this bit of squiggly lines. Continue from here. Just give me a moment. How do I put the do not disturb off? My phone is on some sort of a funny mode where it goes down. Bedroom mode. Screen stays dark. Pause for 30 minutes. Yes, better. Got back. Sorry about that. Back to our picture. So there's rice all over here. I'm not going to show that here because it kind of hides in this section. Same here. And a little bit of that comes in at this point directly. For rice, I will show a few patterns inside as well. Just a little bit to show that there are clumps of rice. Okay, and we can do this in gray afterwards. Next, tomatoes. So something orange, may not be a tomato, but I'm going to just go ahead and do this. A little piece. Okay, some tomatoes. Then we have broccoli, which is sticking out. And next to broccoli, what looks like chicken or some sort of a meat. Right, a shape here, a wonky shape here. Then a little more broccoli. Another wonky shape here. It does not really matter. It's when we add the color that we will be able to define a lot of things. Thank you. Okay, 2 cherry tomatoes or what looks like cherry tomatoes. 2 of them here, followed by some sort of some veggie. Could be a zucchini. Can't make out, but it's green, and we've got 2 of those sitting like this. More broccoli. And right now broccoli and rice will not look very different, but it does not matter. Once we add the color, things will be much better. Chopsticks. Now the challenging part is not the chopstick itself, but drawing another chopstick next to it, equally thin. A cherry tomato here. And one full one here. That's it. Let's get painting. Our pencil colors for today will have a little bit of red, orange, green, and which green shall we take? A bit of brown, maybe darker brown. Yeah, darker brown. Red, we can put a little bit of pink as well just to get some shine or darkness. Gray. So for gray, I'm going to take the gray color as well as the black color. Oops, oh dear, I broke my black. I'm going to have to take that black out into the palette. What else? We have a green. Yes, we do. A green here. And I think I'm going to avoid, okay, maybe a little bit of this green. But this is a little too dark, a little too olivey. Yeah, these olive ones are not so great. I'll add black. That should be enough. Okay. The challenge here is that our box is blackish in color. So we're going to have to do some little bit of black, which is going to look funny. Okay, let's start. A little bit of gray. Here, few places. A little bit of gray. I'm just making squiggles, nothing more. Just a bunch of squiggles in the rice to give it some character. Next, I will try the yellow or the orange. So there is definitely some visible orange here, a little bit here, here, and as we go below, that orange color starts to turn red. So I'll color the rest of it red. A little bit here. Now all these shapes do not really have a very good form when we are giving it a run of pencil color on top. It won't have such great form, so it won't look very convincing, but we'll keep at it. Okay, once we add the color, the water, it's definitely going to improve. Now this one is not red, it's actually yellow, so I'm going to have to pull out my gamble and give it a yellow color with a shine. Next we have green. It's darker than this in the picture. We will darken that later. Here's the base color, followed by a little bit of green over here. Same green continues into this section, and mostly that green is going to be light just here. Since I haven't pulled out another green and I intend to add black to darken it, I'll just go over and color the whole thing. Done. Then there's a little bit of green here, outline, followed by some yellowish shade of hue of yellow. Red again with a highlight. So let's get that red in. Okay. What else? Ah, yes, orange. So the chicken pieces are a bit orange. This is really the easiest part, and unlike what you think, once the water is added to this, it gets a little darker, but not as dark as you think. Again, a shine and red around this, a little bit of yellow, and the green I'll just add it later. Finally, we have a wee bit, I'm just putting orange, just a wee bit, and I will also put in a little bit of brown. Now, this is not brown or orange, it's a very light greenish color, but I want the two colors to be there when we develop this greenish color. I think this should be it. Yeah, let's get started. Now the black I'm going to leave it for now. Let's do all the rest. Water jar and a brush. Now most of the big items here are quite small in size. So I'll just use my size 0 brush. Start with the grays. So drop in a little bit of water, it should activate your gray. And once you've activated it, use that pigment to add more details at other places. So you're picking up this pigment every time you right. We will add more details later. In fact, there's sesame seed on top, and we'll add that later. Let's go on to the other side. Yellow. Now all of these tomatoes have some little bit of yellow in the middle. So if you want to just target that portion, then go on to the red. That should be fine. This one's become too light. We have to darken this. It really is quite pretty to see the colors, to do the colors this way. See, some portions become light, others become dark, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, next, the green. Too much water, so I just drop in, and when I feel it's too much, I use the same dip back into it and just move it across to another area. That way you can control the water. Okay, next, cherry tomatoes. Gonna move on that. There's some of that here. In both these cherry tomatoes, you'll see I've left a shine. If you want to leave that shine, you want to soften it, just go over this portion here. The shine will become a little less harsh. Finally, chicken pieces. Base color is more yellowish orange than brown, so we definitely want this lightness. Eventually we'll put darker brown over it, where you want to show that it has been fried or baked. You can do that. Okay, finally, a very light shade on the chopsticks. It's actually a mix of yellowish and yellowish color, and okay. Now on to the details. For this, I get out my palette and I start applying whatever pigments I have. So because I'm going to darken my red, I have scraped some of this red here, and I'm going to just use that first. So let's just do that. Add a drop of water into your scraped pigment, activate it. Now this is the pinkish red. It's quite dark. So put this on the underside of most of your shapes. So over here, in this portion, this lower portion here, this bit over here, we're trying to define the shapes. There's some over here, a little bit here. See, here. Put in a little bit of that darkish black color. I think this is black, yes. Pick up a little bit of red. And just put in a little bit here. See this portion? Then over here. These will define the shapes quite well. Next is the green. So for the green, I already have a little bit of green here. Let's pull that up. I think this should be dark enough for the green that we have put here. So I'm going to just do a dabbing action. This allows a little bit of the white lighter color to be seen. See, same thing here. Onto this portion, most of that dark color is here. Now this looks dark now, but it will be definitely become quite a bit lighter. Over here we can put in a little more deeper color. So if you want to pull out that black and just darken it here, this is the place to darken it. Then come back to the green and let's dab in a little bit. Next, yellowish brown. Okay, I definitely need a little more orange. Let's shave in some orange. So you'll find me mixing the orange with the brown, and that's because it's not really bright orange, it is orange mixed with the color. So let's mix that up, wake up the orange, mix a little bit with the brown. Now you can put in at different places. A bit of redness to it. It's a dabbing action, not very it's not a very conscious kind of an action, just some little dabbing to give you a sense of dark and light. While that is darkening, I can also go in with a little bit of even darker, almost black sections that are here, for example. So the black really can show the gaps, and you have to be very, very gentle with this black, right? See, it shows all the little gaps in our food illustration. I'm touching on the black that I have here on my palette, in case you're wondering. See? And I'm only doing the gaps. So a little bit here. Done? Okay, now where is my black? I just now had a little piece of black. Yes, there it is. Remember I broke the tip of the brush, of the pencil. So I'm going to wet that tip here. And you're going to have so much of black So I just need to wet it, get it more and more deepening the color. And let's start. The black box is tricky because you have to think of the darkest spots first, right? So I'm looking at the darkest spots like here, and where the rim is, you will need to see if your chicken texture has not yet come in. This is a good chance to bring in some texture. It's like negative painting, right? So let's go in a little bit. See, a little bit more, and we have more color here. Drop of water. this, you need to be very, very careful not to mix up things, go over the wrong places. You can see how frugal I am with color. See, I don't like to put in too much water and then it becomes concentrated, only because I am really, really frugal. Okay. Now here I have thinner section. Now here I will have to add some black, and it has to be as dark as we can make it. So let me start with this portion. Now where the rice meets the box, you are going to have to put this very dark black. So just be mindful to make it nice and get the goodness of the rice, the shape of the rice. So don't lose that. Make it quite realistic by keeping it uneven. Now I will put in a light shade, so I'm going to add water to this. Clean it up. It's still quite dark. Alright, lightish shade, maybe just darken this portion. Again, too dark, lighten it further. here I can see a little bit of darker shade. See over here, a little bit here. Done. Shouldn't. Now I can add the sesame street. Street. It's not street. Sesame seed, and darken this. When you are adding sesame seeds or whatever those black seeds are, do it gently. Pick up some more. Doing those odd ones here. Good enough. That's nice. Now here I'm going to just darken this bit over here, right? And a little bit on this side too. Now as far as this is concerned, we do have one or two dark portions, so I will just go back here, just darken it at those places. There's a little bit of a burn here, a burn here. I will take a little bit of the orange, put a pink or a red, a little bit of that color, just add it here. So a bit over here. So this one definitely has a lot more of that darker shade. Over here too. Done. Next. Green. Now the green I have here, let's shave in a little bit. That's it. Into that I will add a little bit of the black. And let's wake up these green particles. And let's put that in here, right at the border. Little more black. And put it in right at the border. I'm very worried when I put the darker shades because it should not get too overwhelming and become black. Small sprinkles of some sort of green is there on this. Then I will just take my yellow pencil and just put a little bit of yellow. Okay, and once again clean my brush, run it over this yellow. See, there, that's good enough. Coming to the red over here, I want a little more color in my palette, so let's scrape off a little bit more of the red. And put in a few like even 10 to 15 seconds of being made wet. These things start becoming very these colors start to become very strong, so don't lose heart, it a little longer. See, I could have put a little bit of that deeper color here, right? Soften that shine just a little bit, go around it, soften it. That should be enough. Because we have a little bit of green over here, I'll just come and put in a few shapes. That's enough, just indicative of green. Next, the last part is basically whatever design that you are seeing over here on the chopstick. So I think these are some sort of leaves, right? You can see it both on both sides. I'll just put those leaves in. I can't see all of it, so I think there are some leaves here too. That's it. Next, go in with a little red, and we are actually trying to get some sort of a floral pattern. So let's just make what looks like a flower. Okay, with that we are done, but what I want to do is add a little bit of a wee bit of um, shadow. So shadow is gray. I come here to my light gray and just add a little bit of a shadow here. Oops, that was bad. That's bad. Pick it up, or let's just get a tissue cloth. That's it. If you move quickly, it happens. It's fine. I'm gonna put that shade over here. Clean your brush and just run it along the edge of this paint here. I was just teaching this on my weekly class this week, and the kids were a little confused, so I showed them how to do the light shadow. If you lighten, soften the edge, you will get a really nice light shadow. Just me darken this part. Okay, now let's do that with the tomatoes. I hope they are dry enough and my color is not too dark. So here's a shadow, and here's another one. That's it. I could add a few more details, but I think this is enough. You probably don't need much more. Yeah, okay, done. That's my bento box. Let me write it down. I don't have a pen. Oh no, forgot my pen. Day 18 of 31. That's the bento box. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully on time. Bye.